Good morning again. This is Susie with Simply Country Cuisine. So today we're going to do something, and I know some people are not big fans, but today we're going to make liver, and this has got a French brown gravy with it. I can attest to the fact that this is eaten well in my family, and my camera person, Dina, my daughter, does not like meat very much, but she does love this. Do you, Dina?
Yes.
And my husband didn't like liver when we got married, and this recipe actually was created by my dad for my mom, because my mom was pretty ill as a child and she needed to have iron build up in her blood, and so she had to eat the liver a lot while she was in the hospital. And when they married, my dad liked to cook, and on a Sunday afternoon he kind of created this a little bit. And as children, we thought we were eating Salisbury steak. Of course, I don't know what that says about our intelligence, but we did enjoy it. We learned to like it, and we've passed it on through the generations. Now, to start this, it's a very simple, short recipe. You want to get your skillet hot first, and we're going to brown and saute the onions. I like to do that first because I'm going to remove them out to cook the liver in there. And I've got a little bit of, a little bit of bacon grease in here just to brown the onions with. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to dredge and flour up the liver. When I do this, I use all-purpose. Oh, and those, by the way, are our fur friends. This is my fur granddaughter, Buttons, and my fur baby, Bridget. And they're going to be featured in some videos because we're going to actually make some doggy biscuits in the near future. But to start off, we're going to start with some flour and some salt, just salt and pepper. And I like to sprinkle it in my dredging flour. It's about a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to give this a little stir here. And you want your onions to be a nice golden brown. Really tender them up a little bit, because you're going to add them back to the liver when you're simmering it. I'm just going to kind of, just with my fork, just kind of toss the salt and pepper in here. And I will tell you, when you're cooking calves liver, and this really needs to be calves liver. This is a brand that HEB had, and I've used it several times. It's good, it's tender, it's not stringy, and they're nice. You can, if you only want one, you can cook one or four. I usually cook four. But I will say this. I always, when I thaw it out, because I've frozen it, I always leave it a little bit frozen because it's easier to handle. Completely raw liver is kind of hard to handle. And when it's a little bit frozen like this, you can actually manipulate it. You can work with it. And all you're going to do is give it a good dredge in the flour. Cover it real well. And we'll go ahead and we'll dredge up all four pieces while our onions are sauteing and browning. So I want to give a big shout out right now to my daughter Dina, my producer and director, and my daughter Jamie Spritzer. She's created us a new logo, and you'll be seeing it featured on our page. You can go on Facebook. You can connect to YouTube through Facebook, and then you can also go to the YouTube channel, Simply Country Cuisine, and at the bottom you'll find the link. And I want to thank some of the people with some really great ideas. We will be adding the recipe to the bottom of each page each week, and this has just been a lot of fun. And I have a question for you. You know, God gives us, each of us, a talent to do things, and Sometimes it's for a season. Sometimes it's short-lived, and sometimes it's we have that talent for our whole life. But when He gives us that talent, He gives it to us to use for His glory. I'd like people to write in and tell me what their talent is, or what they know that God has given them, and how you use it for God's glory. Okay, now I'm going to have to go to the sink and wash my hands because I can't use the spoon. Alrighty, now the onions are just about where I like them. They're turning a nice, pretty golden brown. Now I'm going to remove these. Just put them in a bowl. Maybe that again. What we just did. Oh, I need to turn the potatoes on. What we just did was just sauteed them up in a little bit of the bacon fat to give them some flavor, brown them up. Then they won't, because once we put the liver in and saute it with the water and the soup, then we'll add these. Now we're going to add a little bit more. I can't really give you a measurement on the bacon grease. I kind of just really coat to the bottom of the pan. Okay, now place your liver, your dredged, flour seasoned liver in your pan, your skillet, and an iron skillet is great for this. I use an iron skillet as much as I can. And this is where my daughter says I have hot hands. I can pretty much touch. And I'm going to cook this on about medium high until I can get it seared on both sides with a nice brown crust. And then we're going to add 1 cup of water. And H-E-B has a brand, Beefy Onion, and it's a very good brand. And now the reason I use there are other store brands out there you'll be able to compare. This has an additive to the onion mixture that gives it a brown gravy. And I do make my own onion flavoring, and I use this in when I make dips and things that are lighter. But this works really, really well. 1 packet for 4 pieces of liver. Mix it into 1 cup of just regular tap water. And we'll just let this set here over on the side until this liver gets to where we can turn it. Now it's starting to sizzle up. And I'm guessing there was probably I added about 1/4 cup of bacon drippings. Now, as you can see, that's got a nice, rich, brown, crusty coating on it. This is a very quick meal. And for you moms that are working, this would be something, and it's so healthy. Your children are going to get protein. And if you don't tell them it's liver, most likely they're not even going to know it. I think it's inbred in us not to like liver. But now that we've done that, I'm going to keep it on about 6 or 7 on my electric eye on my stove, and mix up my water and beef broth. Just make sure that this has got a little bit brown on this side. Yep, can you see that? And as you can see now, it's starting to stick to the pan. So I'm going to add the braising liquid, basically what I'm doing. Make sure you get all of these onion pieces in there though. all smeared around. All right, now take these onions that you've cooked, just kind of lay them on top. Now here's the thing, my iron skillet doesn't have a lid. You really need to, I am going to turn this down because my eye seems kind of hot today. Turn it down to about 4 or 5 because you just want it to simmer. I'm going to have to use foil to just keep a lid on it. And what it does is what we want to do is kind of steam it now. And while that's cooking, I've got some country green beans on the back of the stove. It's a nice side to go with this. And I'm boiling up some potatoes here. As soon as they boil up, I'll just drain them and add a little butter and parsley to them. And it's a real nice addition to this liver meal. Watch your liver though. Watch you don't run out of liquid. And if you don't think it's done, and it will be done, it won't take long because it was almost done now. Just add a little bit more liquid to it. Just a little bit more water to it. Because you just want to be able to create a gravy. And that flour that you've dredged your liver in will create a nice gravy to drizzle over your potatoes. Or my son-in-law Robert loves biscuits, and there's a treat for him in the oven. I've made biscuits for him to have today. And so as soon as this is done, we'll join back with you. Okay, hi, welcome back again. Everything is completely cooked now. We're gonna plate it and I'll show you what it looks like. Take our lid off. You see how the sauteed onions have kind of married into the liver? So we'll get a small piece of liver here. Plate it. It's got a little bit of onion on it. And I remember I told you that boiled buttered parsley potatoes and country green beans, which we can feature on another video, go well with this. And to top it off, Robert's favorite, homemade biscuits. We'll put a biscuit on here. Now the gravy, if you would like to get you a little bit of gravy. See how the Lipton onion soup and the flour create a nice, thin but juicy gravy. And I always just put it on like this. All right, here we go. We have our biscuits, our liver, French onion liver, the boiled buttered parsley, potatoes, green beans, and a tomato. And this is how we ate this as a child. All right, let's dig in and see how juicy and tender. A lot of times when people cook liver, it becomes really dry and it's tough and stringy. And that might be a little bit of why you possibly don't like. But you see how moist this is? I want to say it's good. I'm the cook, but I'm saying it's really good. Get a little potato with that. So yum, so yum. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. And the scripture today is seek his will in all that you do, Proverbs 3:6. And this is the little sketch I did with it today. And again, I want to thank you for joining us. I can't wait till next week. Now, next week, I'll give you a little hint. I had a lot of requests that people would like to know what we were going to make the next week. Next week, it's going to be a kid-friendly meal. My grandson, Joshua. Hey, Josh, this is Grandma calling to you right now. I'm going to do homemade chicken nuggets, homemade mac and cheese, which, by the way, my darling 15-year-old granddaughter can make from scratch. And her favorite salad, lemon salad, will be with it. Please join us next week. These will be a once-a-week menu, a once-a-week viewing, and please allow God to direct your life this week. I hope you have a place to worship this Sunday. Have a lovely week. Bye.